I started taking piano lessons when I was about 3 years old. My parents just threw me into it and I just jumped in with both feet. My piano teacher always said she could remember me sitting on the bench and swinging my little cowboy boots while I played piano. I just started from there, and my whole life I've been doing that and percussion. I think I really enjoyed the avenue of expression that it gives you. This body, not so much built for sports and athletics, so I found something that I was comfortable with, something that felt good to do, and I just wanted to pursue it with everything I had. My piano teacher was a big one. She was with me for probably 13 years of my piano lessons. She mentored me through the times where I didn't want to take piano anymore, encouraging me to stick with it. And my other big mentor was probably my high school music teacher. He's the reason that I'm here today and doing what I do. I wake up every day and I just think that I wouldn't want to be doing anything else than what I get to come to work and do each day. The reward of performance is, again, just the expression that you can put into the music and try and get across a feeling or an emotion that you can't really say to an audience or to one person sitting there listening. Trying to even bring them into the experience and let them feel what you're feeling at that moment. Jasper is one of the most creative places I've ever lived. The people that I get to work with, the people that I can see on a daily basis, and everybody collaborating, whether it be visual art, music, writing, photography. There are so many creative people in this town. If you're going into it for the money, number one, that's completely the wrong reason to go into any art. Art you have to do because you love, because you want to do it, and you want to create something. I try and be there for any questions they possibly have because I want them to experience what it's like to have a career in music or just in the arts in general. I encourage them. I know it is tough to make a living in this profession, but if you really jump in with both feet, it works. You can do it.
I never thought I'd be a leader in theatre. I never thought I would be directing theatre. So for me, I think it's been the people who I've introduced to theatre. That's what I love. I love sharing it. I love showing people what they're missing. It's really hard for people, generally speaking, to get out of their bubble. But I find once you get someone to do that, the options are endless. Doing amateur theatre, I get to. I've worked with people here who have never been on a stage in their lives and people who have tons of experience. And mixing the two is so fun. Theatre is something that makes me who I am. It's on a stage is where I've always said I feel most myself, even though I'm being other people. Doesn't make any sense, but I hope that I'm showing my daughters that I'm doing. It's the whole, make yourself happy thing. I want them to know that all these things are possible no matter, I have 2 young kids, I work, I do all these things, but I still manage to keep that important stuff. I think it's my sanity, it's part of, if I didn't do it, and there's been chunks of time where I haven't, I go a little crazy. It's a way to explore yourself, but also explore the lives of other people. And I find, especially in theatre, but I think in all mediums, there's sometimes being yourself is boring or hard, and it's nice to just escape that a little bit. And I think art for a lot of people is an escape or a meditation or a way to get back on track sometimes. I feel like being here, it's a very supportive community. I find in all the visual arts, theatre, music, it's whatever you're doing, there are people who are going to sort of hold you up and make sure that it happens. I feel like Jasper has made opportunities that I wouldn't have had otherwise to direct and produce and do these things that I didn't even ever think I would try. What I like to see and what I would like to see a little more of is local talent really being showcased a little more. With the visual arts, I feel like it is often, and I think there's some young people who have a lot of talent. And there's a lot of talent in this town, and if you can get people to commit and to believe in showing that talent, then I think that there's a good future for arts in Jasper.
I see it through my eyes first. So, you know, photography is an art. I've got an eye for what I think looks cool or what looks good. And I'll look at it and go, wow, that looks really neat. And I'll take out my camera. Of course, things look a little differently through the lens, and sometimes you don't get what you're seeing in your mind's eye. The camera doesn't see it as you've seen it. So sometimes you need to recompose, do things a little differently. But you know, in the end, I think it's just a matter of vision. I've never been one to, you know, to call myself an artist. I'd always been of the opinion, you know, see something cool, if it looks good, it can go up on the wall. Then, yeah, you look at it, you appreciate it, it's art. I've been more inclined to, you know, to let other people call me an artist if they feel inclined. Sometimes I'll go out to shoot one thing in particular with an idea in mind. I'll photograph it, it'll look great, or it won't look great, but somewhere along the way I'll get distracted by something else. I'll take a photo of it and I'll be like, wow, that was the shot there. It had nothing to do with my original idea, I just kind of happened to stumble upon it. I don't know how you'd really differentiate between, say, a photo of something like just a basic subject or something that's art. Say, compare a pretty landscape to, let's say, a car. You know, they're both subjects, but one's really beautiful and evokes emotion. And sometimes I've been anonymously hanging out at a place where I have a gallery and just sitting there, you know, say it's at a restaurant, I'm having a drink. The person has no idea that I'm the guy who's taking the photos, and I'll watch them go from photo to photo. And sometimes they'll stop longer at certain photos. They'll tilt their head sideways, and I'll be like, wow, yeah, I've drawn them in. I've had that effect on me. Very diverse. Very, very diverse. You've got all kinds of people doing all kinds of different things. When it comes to visual arts, painting and stuff like that, you've got so many different styles of artists. It's incredible, especially for such a small place. I strive to be different, to, you know, do something a little strange, a little odd, to sometimes kind of break the rules. Like for instance, when you're taking photos of people, one thing some of the rules say is never shoot people from below. I find myself sometimes lying on the ground taking pictures of people from below and end up getting some really neat results. So if I can climb a tree, if I can go stand in the water, if I can just do something different, I'm all about that. I learned with film, so I have several binders full of negatives. You learn the basics of photography and you can take it from there. I mean, that's how I learned. I'm self-taught, I never went to school for it. First started with a point and shoot, worked my way up to a film SLR, and then discovered how finicky stuff can get when the camera's not making decisions for you. Since then, I've just trained myself by shooting manually all the time, always controlling the aperture and the shutter speed, and getting the most creative control out of my equipment that I can. It's not motivated by financial gain, but that definitely does help. I wouldn't have the kit that I had now if I hadn't gotten into it and started making money at it. Being passionate, being able to sell yourself, not letting your failures get to you, and learning from your failures most importantly. It's something that's really fun, it can be challenging, but it's definitely worth it if it's something that you're passionate about. We're definitely living in a place where people are open to the arts and you know, want to go home with their little piece of jasper that isn't some, you know, trinket made in China. I really see a lot of people's work around town, and it's definitely beautiful stuff. No, it's this place really is what photography to me is all about. If I go into a different place, it's if I travel to a different place, it's not the same. I like having my mountains, all of nature around me and stuff like that. It's something you can't really get anywhere else. Or if you can get it somewhere else, sure, there's lots of beautiful places all over the world, but there's something about this place here that just feels like home. Yeah, the people of this town, it's really sweet community, a lot of people who care and really want to know what you're doing.
Our house was always full of music, and that was the next thing. As soon as music was on, it was just what happened to me. It just started moving. Elvis Presley, Harry Belafonte, classical music, you name it, the 50s songs, jive, Chuck Berry. Yeah, you know, they ask you in grade 2 what you want to be for your whole life, and I think I've always known, actually. It's always been my passion, and when I have strayed from it, I'm always pulled back because it's what brings me the greatest joy. Dancing is just the freedom of expression, and what I love is that I've always loved the teaching and learning, and that's why I am a dance teacher, and that's what I do, and I'm driven by that, to always be learning more and then teaching my kids what I've learned. If you can walk and you can step, you can dance. I have a huge, huge range of what interests me and what I love. And this summer I have done African, a lot of African, so that's all related to hip hop. And the world dances I am hugely fond of. There was a lot of people in the community that knew that I was a dancer, and I had a degree in dance, a dance education degree. And it kind of evolved naturally, and the people started showing an interest, and I'm like, I'm gonna get back to what I really love doing. And I just put up my sign and people came. Jasper's not a huge town, but we do have a very active community, as is evident by all those people that are here tonight. And there's many avenues in dance. There's teaching, there's being a performance artist, and there are people from Jasper that have gone to perform and join companies and so on. I say just keep dancing and you can do it. We have a great future. I'm looking forward to it. The new center and just lots of people that are so involved here. My favorite quote is, "Dance is the breath of life made visible." To tell a story to the audience, to relay a feeling, to create emotion, and sometimes it's just the absolute joy of moving.
In my family, there's always been a lot of storytellers, and there are also a lot of artists. So I could either learn how to tell a story or become an artist. And there were singers, there's painters, there's sculptors, there's always been, in all of both sides of the family, there's always been a lot of ability and maybe just a want to express yourself. And so I can't draw at all, can't sing, can't dance. So it was like whittling it down to something I could do, and that was writing. So ever since I could tell stories, I was writing. The last 3 big pieces of work that I've done that were published in book format are from here, from the mountains. We've been here for almost 20 years, and I finally have the chops, I think, to be able to write about what it is that I see, but it's really the small parts. Your environment is, it's the natural, yeah, and it's also what we can make within that natural environment, and it has to fit and it has to flow, otherwise your relationships don't work either. So the ideas are always there. The hardest part has become just finding enough time to quiet my mind and to actually do it. It's right in here and in your heart and when you start writing. So if I can just be quiet and still long enough, it's there, it's all encompassing. It's a promise, right? Like you're given something as a gift, it's an idea or whatever, and you have to give it 100%, all the time. It's not a 50-50 deal. It's not like, well, I'll be a writer and I'll be a teacher and I'll be a... You're a writer. Everything that you possibly do all the time comes back to, it could be material for something that you're going to write later on. So the advice that I would give somebody who thinks they want to pursue this sort of thing is just like buckle down, because it's going to be tough. It's going to be fantastic and rewarding and all the rest of it, but you have to learn how to work really, really hard. I think I was born seeing the world just a little bit different, and I can't understand people who don't see it my way. So as a teacher, that's my job. I have to teach people how to see the world the right way. I love the magic that can happen when you're reading out loud to somebody, or somebody's read a piece that I've done or whatever, and the satisfaction of knowing that it's touched at least one person, or they can turn around and go, you're right, that's exactly what it is, or I never thought of it that way. Now I can't see it another way. This is the way I'm going to see it, and then that's perfect for me. That's the ultimate. I think artists give us a chance to see the world, and they make us thoughtful. It's a really innate part of everybody, and without it, it would be really, really sad. It would be like a 1984 kind of scenario. I don't really think I could live in a place like that either. This place is so full of artists, and I don't know if it's because of just the sheer amount of just beautiful things that we see here. You would come here to rest or to heal, or to just, clarify and make things right again. And the artists here and the community here are phenomenal for that sort of thing. Nobody comes here with a vindictive spirit, and if they do, it doesn't last very long, because everybody's just, they're so nice, and they're giving, and they're understanding, and they're encouraging, and you can't be mean here, I don't think, not for very long. It's that acceptance of work hard, do what you gotta do, and always have time for things that are beautiful in your life. Like, the quality of your life is really important. And that, I think, it gives so much to the art community here, and the community gives back, and it's just a beautiful sort of organic kind of back and forth all the time.
I'm a painter. First and foremost, I'm a landscape painter. I use landscape as my main inspiration. And through my interpretation of landscape, I explore other artistic avenues. I venture into abstraction. I occasionally use photography. But in the end, I come back to landscape as the driver that inspires all of my other explorations. There's a town site within this landscape that, in one way, is like a small city. Jasper is an international destination. It has a vibrant street life, a wonderful, diverse group of citizens who contribute a lot to making the community what it is. And all of these wonderful things here, all of these extras that most residents in small towns don't get to enjoy, all of the extras are here in this community. And this community is conveniently nested in a very inspiring landscape. And so it's the way that those two completely different landscapes work together, the community and the mountains, makes for a very electrically charged subject that I explore through my art. The seasons, as they pass through their cycle, these are things that cause me to look inward and express moods and expressions through my painting. It's a way of sharing and checking in with one another to see how we're all doing in terms of interpreting the world around us. Through art, I can tap into a universal community and feel connected globally. I think that people see a reflection of themselves when they look at a painting. I think they are more concerned not with getting into the mind of the artist who made the piece. The arts and cultural community in Jasper is sometimes more well established than I think we realize. It found its roots in the early 1900s with the Lake Edith artist community. And they were an early group of artists who were very motivated and inspired by the Jasper landscape. And they established something. They established a legacy that continues to thrive to this day. A small but dedicated group of individuals has always carried the art forward. It is still predominated by landscape artists, and that's very obvious. Why shouldn't it be? We live in a place where the subject matter is second to none in terms of alpine scenery. Younger artists are coming here and are starting to discover that with a little bit of sacrifice and lots of dedication and hard work, it's possible to make it here as an artist. And that's something new for Jasper. We now have galleries, we have live music venues. Jasper has become an important stop along the way for lots of independent Canadian recording artists. Art exhibitions have become commonplace in Jasper, and we have successful openings that attract a lot of people. These are the reasons why the art scene is bound to do well in coming years in Jasper. We're finding viable partnerships where artists and the business community are working together to create really fun and entertaining events where art is a key component in making the event authentic, making it original, and making it into something that is singular to the identity of Jasper. Having art in the community and seeing artists working on location, for example, or seeing local artists exhibiting in the local galleries is a life-enhancing experience. It shows that people have a sense of stewardship about the environment. They have an aesthetic appreciation of the surrounding park. And it's a way of preserving and celebrating the beauty of Jasper, the destiny of art in Jasper relies heavily upon the value of mentorship and the willingness of established and senior artists to pass along their values and their experience and their techniques to younger emerging artists. And this is something that we're seeing more of each year in Jasper through our endeavors, through the organizations who support art in Jasper. And it's wonderful to see. Art is an extremely important community builder because it taps into the community at all levels, irrespective of age, irrespective of experience,